What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my MLB Week 10 power rankings. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe down below to get started. We got the Rangers, the highest movers this week, going up 7 spots. The Cubs moving down 8 after a rough week. But we got your usual suspects here, 30 through 26, and A's, Rockies moving up, Angels, Marlins moving down, White Sox still in last place. The Rockies had a decent week, and the A's are moving up 2 spots just because they had a tougher opponent. Went 2-4, but the Marlins and the Angels really didn't play some good baseball at all. And that's why they're falling down here as well. And you can see there are those White Sox 1-15 in their last 16 games, so it's going nowhere fast. 25 through 21. I think it's interesting here to see the Diamondbacks, Mets, and Astros. I think they're going to be suspects of around this territory for the next few weeks at least. The Astros do have an easier schedule this week than they had last week, so maybe they can get closer to 500. Diamondbacks kind of as well, but they didn't really compete against the Mets or the Rangers at all, in my opinion. Now they get San Francisco and San Diego and two tough divisional series, so it's a big week for those Diamondbacks. And then the Mets, the Mets are going to Met right now, just really struggling, can't figure anything out. I expect them maybe to be sellers at the deadline. Maybe Polar Pete's gone. The Reds, they're hanging around by a thread right now. Same with those Pirates, but nothing really good here out of these teams so far. 20 through 16. And this is where you get your biggest faller and a big mover up as well. And the Cubs, biggest faller, the Nationals are the second biggest mover this week. And that's because they went 3-1 in Atlanta. And yeah, it was tough. They were probably on a little cloud nine going into Cleveland. Did lose the series 1-2, but competed. Those Nationals are looking like a tough team right now to play against. And those three against the Mets, they could easily win that series and maybe go split against Atlanta at home again. And maybe the Nats will be moving up some more, getting closer to 500. The Rays, they're a team that's floating around 500. Blue Jays and Giants as well. These teams are just teeter-tottering of that 500 mark. But the Blue Jays had a great week. They finally got back on their feet with some easier opponents. And now this week they go face Baltimore at home. And that's going to be a good series to really see where this Blue Jays stands at this point in the season. 15 through 11. The only team that's moving here is the Rangers, and that's because they had a great week. 4-1 last week. They only lost to Miami and Miami. This week they get the Tigers and the Giants at home. And I think both of those series are going to be very competitive for them. Really see how this Rangers team stacks up against teams that are around their skill set. Same for those Tigers as well. Obviously, they're playing the Tigers, and then they get the Brewers at home, and that'll be a big series for them. And I think the Red Sox are starting to figure things out. Their bats just need to wake up more. Besides Rafi Devers and a few, games here from Connor Wong, the Red Sox really don't have a consistent lineup. But if that lineup gets consistent with that starting pitching, then the Red Sox, I think, could be a team that you could be looking for at wild card berth when it's all said and done. And then those Cardinals, I don't know where they stand right now. They're just playing some good baseball, competitive baseball, but just can't figure it out after, they're another team that's teeter-tottering around that 500 mark. But we have the Padres, 2 series wins last week, get them above that 500 mark. They get the Angels and the Diamondbacks in. This could be a week where they could look back and say, this is where they started to pick it up and run away just because of that easy schedule there this week. And Padres, let's say they go 5-2 this week. That puts them at 37 and 32. They're starting to slowly trend up past the 500 and not have to worry about that anymore. 10 through 6, you got movement all around here besides that 8 with the Twins. Brewers, Mariners move up. Royals and Braves move down. And yeah, the Royals have a better record than the Twins, but the Twins just beat them in a 4-game series 3-1. So I think it's only fair to put the Twins ahead of the Royals at this point in the season. Braves, since Acuna's been down, have really struggled. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do moving forward. Maybe they go get a bat here relatively soon. It is the month of June now. The trade deadline is less than 2 months away. Those Braves could be hunting early, whereas the Royals, maybe this is where the Royals start to fade back to the 500 team that I thought they would be at the beginning of the year. Last week was kind of telling, losing 2 series. They get Cleveland on the road. It's a big series, especially for the Guardians. If they can sweep the Royals, really take a huge commanding lead in the AL Central, that would be big for them. But the Royals really need that series to keep up. And then obviously those Mariners as well. Big, big series for them. So the Royals have a big week in front of them. Same for those Brewers. Now they go on the road to face Philly, which is top five team in baseball right now, and then the Tigers, who are very good at home this year. So the Brewers have tough 6 games for them on their schedule this week. 5-1. Not much here. I think just some teams slip and flop in places here. The Yankees and Phillies move around 1 and 2, and the Dodgers and Guardians move 4and 5. The Orioles staying put at 3 after going 4-2 last week at home in the division. I think that's only fair that they stay at 3. Yankees do have the best record in baseball by half a game now, so I think it's only fair to put them ahead of the Phillies after the Phillies went, 3-3 last week, and the Yankees go 5-1. It's only right. And it's the same thing for the Dodgers and Guardians. The Guardians have a big lead in the AL Central, but had a rocky week last week, as you can see there. No pun intended, as they lost to the Rockies. A lot of these teams need to get back on pace here, and especially to the Guardians. Those 3 games, like I mentioned last slide, against the Royals are going to be pivotal early this season in the AL Central. So, if, like I said, the Guardians get 3 games on them, I think they'd be up 6, 7 games. This early is big, and then those Dodgers as well. Hit the road, going against Pittsburgh. They'll get Paul Skeens and Jared Jones, tough matchups there. And then they get the Yankees, and the Yankees obviously have some tough games too. They have the Twins before they welcome those Dodgers. So there could be some movement here as even the Orioles, they're going on the road. The Blue Jays, who are playing some good baseball right now, and the Rays, they're starting to figure it out here. 7 games, no days off for the Orioles, and it's all on the road. Tough week for those O's. That's going to be it for my power rankings this week. Come back next week to see where your favorite team ranks. Until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.